Thank you, Mr. Sawhney. There was so good information for us. And dear guests, let's keep it moving with our first panel of the afternoon. Rediscovery, how to restart and keep on going. I think everyone can feel burned out from time to time, but how we handle that feeling, the consciousness that we show to that emotion, and the changes we make to shift direction are what separate us from the people who give in to that feeling. So the settle will be prepared and the time. Sorry, we will wait some minutes to moderate again panel. Okay, thank you so much. Dear guests, now I would like to introduce the moderator for this panel, International Mice and Wedding Forum, very own managing director. Welcome to stage, Mr. Fuat Ersoy.
Thank you, thank you. Let me introduce you our panelists. Joining me on stage, the CEO of Privé, Ms. Elizabeth Isiorho. With your applause, please. Well, Events and More recently organized one of the largest Indian wedding of Darya Virani with Ayesha Mahtani in Rixos Premium Belek, Antalya. A 3 days extravaganza with over 700 guests and 250 plus support staff. Over 12 functions, state-of-the-art decor, unparalleled entertainment, and performances by renowned artists not only left the onlookers in awe, but also attracted a lot of media coverage. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you the Managing Director of Events and More, Mr. Aanand, Dawda, with your applause. Thank you. That was a great keynote speech. We missed him already, so let me introduce you the Director of Wedniksha Wedding Planners, Mr. Bhavnesh, Sawhney, once again, with your applause. Thank you. Our final panelists for Rediscovery is the CEO and Creative Director of Catwalk Event Management and Production, Ms. Frieha, Altaf, with your applause. Thank you. So, we have a very interesting topic. Thank you all for joining us. We will speak about rediscovery, how to restart and keep on going. Let me start with you, Elizabeth. Yeah. Could you please tell us, do you feel that you get numb, exhausted from your routine sometimes?
I think I do all the time. I mean, it's only normal for you to feel tired and doing the same thing over and over again. But if you love what you do, it's just, I think, part of the whole routine that you get tired of, doing the same thing over.
All right.
Yeah.
And Aanand, do you remember the enthusiasm when you first start running the business or doing your job? Do you still have it?
Oh yes, of course. I mean,
Is it diminishing or growing each day?
No, I mean, when you're in the events, it just cannot diminish, Everyone over here would agree. Any event that you do, it has to with the passion. You have to start from zero. There is no rule book. Everyone has their own formulas. So, yeah, it cannot diminish for sure if you are in the events. The satisfaction that it brought, from the first event, that is something that, that remains with you, forever. So, of course, coming back to, the passion, as you said, it can diminish. It just cannot diminish because either you are in the events or either you are not in the events. That's what the event management is.
I totally agree with you. That's correct. Bhavnesh, what was the reason or reasons of your start to this journey?
I think it all starts with creativity. I was into the jewelry designing business, and for me, that creative knowledge which I had, I wanted to grow it to much larger scales, and that was the reason I, got into wedding planning and designing. And it was also the adrenaline. I will not deny that. The kick you get out of it.
We're all addicts of that,
yes,
I guess.
I think it's the adrenaline, the kick out of it, which will never diminish, which keeps us going day after day. And like I spoke earlier, it's the passion, and we love what we do. If we don't love what I do, we can't do it. And that's what got me into this. And I think event management is about common sense and logic, and if that's part of your facets, I think you grow beautifully in this business.
Exactly. Frieha,
Yes.
with all your knowledge and experiences, have you become more conservative, or are you able to keep your mind and soul open to the novelty? If yes, how do you do it? I know your answer already.
What do you know?
But not the one for how do you do it, because I know it for sure that you do it.
Okay, so I am not conservative. I come from Pakistan. I think I'm the only Pakistani here in this forum. And when I started working, which was way back in '86, it was very, very, very conservative. You had to wear like a scarf and you couldn't be on television. And so I started breaking the rules way back then, 32 years ago.
Wow.
I became a model, which was not acceptable, not good, became an actress. Then I started looking at, thrown into fashion shows, and it was so disorganized. I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to fix it, because this is not how it's supposed to be done. So I actually did not know anything about this business. I just threw myself in it. So I'm not conservative. I'm always trying to break grounds, because I think in a developing country, it's easier. It's easier because there's so many things that have not happened that you can go in there and you can change things if you're educated and if you're hardworking and you're smart.
Very well. How do you keep your mind and soul open to the novelty?
Because you have to open your mind. It's like when you were speaking to us, you said, the question why, it's very important. In my country, you're not allowed to question anything. And I question everything. And so I question my parents, I question society, I question everything. And when you do that, is you discover more and more. You can't learn anything if you don't question. So you have to break things and get to that part by questioning.
Exactly. Thank you. Elizabeth, what's your inspiration? What inspires you most?
I love to travel. So visiting different countries, meeting people from different parts of the world, planning weddings with different brides from every country, doing so many things different that inspires me. I mean, I wake up, just being on the internet, you see so many things, and I feel life is so beautiful that you realize that, everything around you, means something to you. So I get inspired every day.
Exactly. Thank you. Do you do breaks, Aanand?
Sorry?
Do you do breaks, Aanand?
Oh, break.
Do you do breaks, time for your own, to have some tranquility?
Well, it's a very rare occasion for all event managers, Yeah, very, very rare occasion, breaks. But yeah, I mean, I have a family in US, so keep traveling back and forth, India, US. So yeah, that's the place, where I do more of the break.
Or what don't you do on the break?
On the break?
Because Bhavnesh mentioned a couple of days with no phones, no emails. I said it should be a dream. Most of you, I guess, did the same.
Probably, yeah. That's what I was coming to that. Use less of phones, especially when having meals, because I don't remember throughout the year having a meal and without even a texting or doing a calls or anything. So that's something that I try to not to do. So yeah.
What makes you relieved, Bhavnesh? Are you reconciled with yourself from time to time?
What I thought and what I follow is, today we all as planners and doing luxury, large-scale weddings, I feel I need to be around luxury. So me going to all the luxury brands, shopping, is a fantastic way for me to relieve myself.
Retail therapy.
Retail therapy. Because if I don't love luxury, I can't sell luxury.
Yeah, it's true.
Secondly, I also love going to the Maldives. I love scuba diving. So that's a wonderful thing. I just disappear in the middle of the ocean, do 2-3 dives a day. It makes me de-stress, because I think it's extremely important to get a break, to,
It is.
because our job, everyone says event management and planning is at the top 5, among the top 5 most stressful jobs. So you don't want to burn out. You want to be there for a long time. So you need that break, whatever makes anyone tick. For me, it's definitely retail therapy and scuba diving.
Diving is a great choice. I
Yes.
have to say that. I mean,
Yes.
being under the water, hearing no voice, seeing no one, being all alone with yourself and some fishes, some corals, the color, great choice. We have great shores for diving. Next time, be my guest, please.
Thank you. I will definitely do that.
My invitation is valid for all of you, ladies and gentlemen. But one by one, please. Frieha,
Yeah.
you're full of energy. What's your energizer, especially when you feel down?
I try not to feel down. Actually, I was feeling a little down before coming here. Now, I knew this was the best thing for me. And I think maybe it's because I was missing my kids, because, now they're in university. And also, I get bored. I mean, if you've done what you've done for so many, I know you were saying, sometimes you get bored. And, you have to re-energize yourself with different things. You got to find something different. You got to find, something else to do. Events is a huge business. There's sport events, there's weddings, there's so many things you can do. So you have to keep discovering, what else can we do? What is new? What is going to be exciting? And that is what brings you the energy. I mean, I'm talking about work, right? Otherwise, for me, it's the energy is from always trying to do better. You have to be ambitious. If you're not ambitious, you're I don't know. I mean, if you can do this for a pastime now, everybody's ambitious, right? Mm-hmm. You want to go better and one better.
Not everybody. I
am.
But I mean, it's a good point, because if you're doing such job, I mean, you have to be curious. You have to be different. Mm-hmm. You have to be self-confident, because otherwise you cannot create something new, If you wait the acceptance of all others for everything what you're doing, it's not possible. You will never do something new or unique. You see. Thank you.
It's good to be bored. I'd say that. It's good to be unhappy. I was saying that to you the other day. Because only if you're there, you're going to change it.
That's
Otherwise,
true.
you're not going to change.
If you don't go down, you will never go up.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth, if you would be able to go back in time and meet yourself at the very beginning of your career, what would you advise her?
Stay focused, be calm, be patient, and just love what I do. And don't let anything stress me in any way. I think that's the advice I'll give myself right now.
Would that be possible with one advice, you think?
I think the most important thing is just really be patient. In this industry, we really have to be patient in everything we do. And I mean, sometimes you have clients that might, get on your last nerve, but you have to be calm in every situation and manage it very well, which really works for us in this industry. But There's so many things. I can list 1,000,001 things I would want to do, but for now, it's really be patient, be calm, and also be very focused in whatever you do, and never give up in life.
I would like to repeat this question for each one of you. Aanand, what would your advice be if you go back to yourself in time, right at the beginning of his career? What would you tell him?
Well, going back into the career, a lot of things, if I have to advise, where we started from, as Bhavnesh, in the keynote also said that, a lot of, new companies coming up and, maybe with, say, a half knowledge, or, they just start off from somewhere, and the sustainability, which is a very big question on a lot of companies. So do your homeworks, start from zero, start, from ground up, learn, the detailing part of all the events that we do. So that is something, if I go back in time, that's where, I started from. Doing, I think the first event, if I remember, I was maybe managing, say, just like a headsets or the walkie-talkies, and from there on, to grow up and, make, the events and the success and what we did, a month back over here in Turkey. So that is something, very important for anyone, or, anyone, starting off, or that's the advice, to fill it out, everything, and move on from there on.
Bhavnesh?
Well, I think I've been very fortunate to be part of the lineage of Wizcraft. I think you all saw Mr. Joseph's keynote speech earlier this morning, and being part of
wonderful speech, by the way,
and being part of such a fantastic legacy. We've been blessed. Wedniksha is actually almost 5 years old now, 4 years plus. And we've been very fortunate to be getting some of the best weddings and events to do, right from Jennifer Lopez to come and perform at our wedding, to doing a beautiful cruise wedding last year, to do some of the Bollywood weddings in India. So because of, I would tell myself that I need to continue and be as humble and grateful and thankful as ever to be able to get this opportunity, to be able to create such wonderful things for people all over the world. Of course, I want to do a Hollywood wedding, and I want to do a wedding in Disney World, which I keep telling Ryan, one of my, aims. But just to continue being humble, because it's been, very fortunate that we've been given these kind of opportunities, and we've taken them and, tried to create the best for the couple and the bride and groom. So I think that's what I learned, and that's what I'll keep telling myself, to be thankful all the time.
that would be a good advice.
Thank you.
Frieha?
Okay, so when I started, I just jumped in because I am a very passionate person and I'm not thinking about money so much. I'm always going with passion. I've got to do this, I want to do this, and the money always comes. It should not be the goal. They say it should never be the goal, it's the means to the goal. So you always, but when I went in there, because I was a creative person, I got an art degree, I didn't know anything about the business side. So of course people make fools of you, you learn through your mistakes, and always never really thought about that business side. I got smart, I did make money, but I think if I could go back, I would maybe have done maybe more courses in business and gotten a better team together so that I could protect myself, because I kept creating events and shows and award shows and just giving them to my clients instead of what the gentleman from Wizcraft did. He
Mr.
actually
Sebastian.
started his own show. I would have maybe started my own show. In my part of the world, we are very loyal to everybody, to our clients. So we think of them first before we think of ourselves. But I think that is something that I would go back and change.
Good point. Aanand, have you ever considered to desist everything? If yes, what has changed your mind? Where did you get the renewal energy?
Well, I would like to replace the word desist with discontent. It's not a right word, I think, desist, because as I said, if you desist, that's the end for your, for the event, career. Discontent, yes, because sometimes, you plan things and things don't go right, and or your vision is not accepted or not executed. So that is something, I would say, it's a more like a discontent that, you are in that position and things are not gone right, or vision is not been accepted or respected. So that's the thing. Coming to the question of, the renewal energy, everybody over here, the renewal energy is from the successful event that you do. When your work becomes maybe your identity and you're known for your work and your clients, don't think twice to, give you the projects. So that's the renewal energy for me.
People who are counting on you, the people who are counting on you, either your clients, your team,
Yeah.
your family, your friends, whatever. You're right. Bhavnesh, how do you motivate yourself? Even though you don't look, you need to be motivated. That's a great personality. I admire it. How dedicated you are to your cause or causes?
I think all of us in the wedding planning business need to be extremely dedicated, because what we are trying to achieve and give in weddings, there's no second chance. There is no retake. It has to be perfect. The bride has to walk down that aisle at the right time. The groom has to come on that horse and get off properly. These kind of detailings, this kind of planning, this kind of work that we all do, we, I think, get better and better. I think one of our partners at Wishcraft, Mr. Viraf, who's not here, and who does all the live shows, had always told us that you need to keep planning every day, repeat the plan so it gets into your head and your team, so there's no chance for error. So planning is one thing. Self-motivation, I think, is what I do, is I motivate myself to achieve, to do better and better, more and more. I'm overall a very positive person, so it works for me. I'm an extrovert. I like meeting people. I like talking to people. I like traveling. So all these things, I think, give me that motivation, that passion, the zest, the zeal to continue and do more and more and more. The satisfaction, the compliments one gets after you achieve a great wedding. And the last one we did in Malta in October, the client is a very big family, and he said, what you all did is you all have increased my respect tenfold. Things like this, when you hear from a client, that kind of satisfaction.
I guess we're all living for those moments.
Yes, it's those moments, those few words of gratitude from the bride or the family. Those are the ones which motivate you to do more. It's a satisfaction which I don't think anything can give you, because you've put in so much effort. It goes almost 3 months average to do a destination wedding, really well planned. We've done some in 4 weeks also. So the amount of work goes in, and at the end of the day, money is one part, but the satisfaction you get when they compliment you, and for a job well done, and the team gets that pleasure and that satisfaction, I don't think anything can motivate you more than that.
Yes. You know what I think? Sometimes it's like writing letters on send, Once you write it, finish it, you fall in love with what you have written, and the wave comes and takes it. All the applause, all the admiration, whatever, And then next day you have to restart and restart and restart again. But I guess that's the most difficult part of our business.
Yes, because a lot of times after a big successful wedding, you get depressed. You get low, like, my God, it's over, so fast. It's such a high adrenaline, and then you need to come back to, reality and then start again.
Do it again and again. That's true. Priya, how do you manage your stress? Do you do sports? Dance?
Everything.
Any recommendations to the audience?
I think exercise is one of the most important things, which I've always been very sporty, so I've always tried to work out. I think that's important, because I think, just running just get it out of your system. There's so much stress. But stress is good. I know I always say, I'm saying all the wrong things, aren't I? I think I'm very motivated by stress. Stress helps me achieve more. I am more on the ball. I'm more like, I can find solutions better.
I guess it's keeping you awake or more cautious to the details, the stress gives you some adrenaline.
Yes.
But we all have to learn to manage it well.
To manage it, yes. I think.
Not good for our veins,
No. I think you have to. We end up eating all wrong. I know everybody does that, right? Because it's quick bites or whatever because you're on the go all the time, and then. But I think that you have to. I do what the gentleman does. I love scuba diving. I'm an adventure diver, so I've been to 10 top dive sites in the world. This is what I do: take short trips. And take my kids and just go and shop. I also like shopping. See, we're all the same. So this is what I do too. Like,
All right.
Let me just say something to shopping, right? Because we travel so much. So, someone told me, why do you go to the same stores and the same brands in maybe Dubai or in London or in New York? I said, because I'm in different hotels. So when I go to the same brands, I feel at home. So,
That's true.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, last question comes for everyone. When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. Says Rumi, great poet. Most probably one of the biggest philosophers of this geography, from my point of view, he is. Would you agree? I mean, do you feel a river moving in you when you do something from your soul? A joy. How often do you feel the river moving in you? Let's start with you, Elizabeth.
Sorry, I was just thinking of one of the weddings I did, and I enjoyed it. And at the end of the day, with every stress that went through it, I was fulfilled because I was happy looking at my work. I was happy that, what I did was what I wanted to do. And it just gives you that so much joy because you've done something that you love doing and you've executed it well. So for me, it's just a happiness in you that feels that you've done it. Not about as she said, not about the money, but the fact that you've done something, that made someone happy, which is what's really important. Yeah.
Aanand?
I would say all the time.
All the time?
It's all the time. I mean, if you don't like or you don't love what you're doing, you're not going to achieve, what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think, it's probably all the time. I mean, keep innovating, keep doing new things. That's what the event management is all about. I mean, solving maybe the same equation with different formulas, but it has to be all the time.
Bhavnesh?
I think I answered this earlier. I think the joy and satisfaction you get when you get complimented and by the families, that keeps my soul happy because we work through from our soul and the passion is from within because we can't achieve what we do if it's not from in there. So that satisfaction can only be, satisfied with, I think, gratitude. And I think being humble and gratitude and feeling good about what we do is what would make the river keep flowing.
Frieha?
Okay, so just recently I've started doing a lot of work with charity and more creating events which are doing good for people. And from last year with this whole Me Too campaign, we've had a lot of problems in our country with child abuse. So what's happening is that I found another kind of a joy. It's very it's really motivating because when you are doing something which is bringing attention from the media, from the world stage, and you are doing it for a good a better cause, you just find the human aspect of it, doing something for human beings, for children. It really is a great motivator. And right now I feel like I am a river going into the ocean. So I am very happy about this new phase that I've taken into my event business. So it's not that I've stopped doing everything else, that my people are doing that with me, but this especially part of it I am now focusing on. So,
answer.
yeah, so that's really nice.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. Thanks to Rumi, we have finished our panel. We'll be glad. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be glad to answer your questions. You can address it, any one of us. Any questions? Or any comments? Any experience you want to share with? There you go. Mike? No. Not me. Is it on?
Hi, my question is for Aanand actually. So he's obviously done one of the biggest weddings that Antalya has seen, and so have any Indian group that has come in here. So tell us 3 challenges that you faced that you think that probably the next time you or any of us had to travel with a group, we would be better prepared to manage an Indian wedding or any wedding that comes here. So 3 challenges that you faced in this city.
3 challenges. Yeah, I mean, it's a new destination. Antalya is just coming up. It's, I think, been a year and a half, where weddings have started moving into, this part and this region. So it's a fairly new destination. Flights, yes, it's a challenge coming in from India. That's one challenge. Second was, I would say, a bit of a language to, communicate with the local vendors and local technicians, hotels, catering. So that's one challenge, we really had, was the language, which I'm pretty sure, since it's a fairly new destination, they're still coming up with, more options, and, they will still develop. And they will have more of vendors who would maybe employ more of English speaking, or like the technicians and stuff. So those are, I think, the 2 major challenges I think we did face. Beyond that, I don't think so. There was any other big third challenge that I could even think of. It's a very, very good destination. It's, I think, tailor-made for Indian weddings. When we come down and when you go and see any of the properties, you have brilliant like lawns, to the banquet halls, to the sizes, to the locations, to the beach. They have so many different variety options to hold the events, which our Indian weddings do need. Different functions need different venues. So that's Antalya. I mean, I think it's a tailor-made, for Indian weddings.
Any other question?
Yeah.
All right, then we're all set. Done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you guys stay on the stage, let's have a picture all together. Thank you for joining me. Would you mind? Bir toplu resim alabilir miyiz? Frieha,
Yes.
Let's have a picture all together.
Okay.
Okay. Should I go in?
All right.
Okay.